Good morning. Good morning. It is June the 6th, 2019. Happy D-Day, everybody. If you are new to my channel, my name is Daniel Lee. I live here in Juneau, Alaska, and this is what I do. I preach and teach the Hebrew Jewish roots of the Christian faith on my website, spiritandtorah.com. I expose satanic pedophiles to investigative reporting on my YouTube channel. I provide satanic ritual abuse survivors a platform to speak out on, protect the innocent children, and I lead a nightly Zoom room prayer meeting every single night where we pray for President Trump, this nation, other subscribers, and each other. Okay, so this death that I reported on yesterday, this former congresswoman from Arkansas, go ahead and get my share screen working here. Linda Collins Smith, this former senator, Arkansas judge seals police records in killing of former senator Linda Collins Smith. This is from yesterday. So remember, I reported on how she was someone who had spoken on a forum connected to Q, affiliated with Q. She was someone standing up against sanctuary cities. Well, there's a lot more going on with this death than meets the eye. A judge has sealed investigative files in the killing of former Arkansas Senator Linda Collins Smith. The Randolph County Prosecuting Attorney's Office announced Wednesday that Circuit Judge Harold Irwin had sealed documents and statements obtained by police. The Randolph County Sheriff's Office said it will issue a brief statement on the case Wednesday. They did not answer. The order comes after Collins Smith was found dead from a gunshot wound at her home in Pocahontas on Tuesday. Ken Yang, her former press secretary, has said her death is being investigated as a homicide. According to Yang, neighbors heard gunshots a day or two before Collins Smith's body was found. Her body was reportedly wrapped in a blanket. Smith was a Republican state representative from 2011 to 2013. She served in the state Senate from 2015 to 2019. In a statement Wednesday, Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson said he was stunned and saddened by Collins Smith's death. Okay, so there seems to be a lot of secrecy surrounding her apparent murder. It's being investigated as a murder at this point. Now, if we go back to this story, this is from August 21st, 2018. State Department of Human Services to add unit for auditors. The State Department of Human Services will create a new unit to work with outside auditors and address any problems they discover, the department's director told lawmakers Monday. At a meeting of the Legislative Joint Auditing Committee's Medicaid Subcommittee, Human Services Director Cindy Gillespie also apologized for not attending the panel's last meeting in July, in which other department officials briefed lawmakers on the department's response to an audit that flagged reporting errors and other discrepancies related to $126 million in expenses. We are taking this extremely seriously, Gillespie said. We have a lot of work ahead. Some legislators had complained about Gillespie's absence from the July meeting and a meeting in April on the full committee. If you come to these meetings, I think you can learn a lot from them. Senator Linda Collins Smith, so here's the woman that was murdered, Republican from Pocahontas and a vice chairman of the subcommittee, said Monday. The discrepancies were discovered during an annual review by legislative auditors of programs that receive federal funding. The bulk of the question costs resulted from reports to the federal government that showed Medicaid spending amounts that didn't match information in the department's financial management system. The audit also found almost $28 million that the state could owe to the federal government because of expenses that lacked proper documentation or shouldn't have been allowed under federal rules. Okay, so what is this all about? There's some discrepancies with money, and if you go toward the end of the article, it says, I do hope they're beginning to see a change in the way DHS, that's not Department of Homeland Security, by the way. This is the basically the equivalent of CPS in Arkansas, Child Protective Services. So they're being audited. It says, I do hope they're beginning to see a change in the way DHS is responding to their audits and a change in the way DHS is seeking to provide them the information they need. So monetary discrepancies involving DHS. Now, a subscriber actually sent me this link. This is from Speak Project, Sovereign Police of Earth Acting Knowledgeably. So this was posted yesterday on June 4th, and I'm going to go ahead and go through this here. Former state senator Linda Collins Smith of Arkansas was found shot dead in her home on 6/4/19. so 2 days ago. She was working with DHS Insider to expose a missing 27, well, this article says 28 million, but 27 million from DHS Child Protective Services. So we're talking about CPS here. These funds are being placed into trade, and the dividends are being filtered back to the Clinton Foundation or owned shell companies belonging to the Clinton Foundation. The missing 27 million was discovered when it was revealed that the DHS in Arkansas had 2 separate sets of books. It's connected to a federal grant that requires a specific number of children be removed from their families to meet the required quota so that they're able to renew the grant again each year. So not just some sort of monetary discrepancy going on within the Child Protective Services, but actually shows that the whole purpose of we know about these quotas, or at least we've known about them from YouTube videos and other people talking about it, but here was hard proof that there was actually quotas that were being required for children to be removed from their families. And I've talked many, many times about how CPS, Child Protective Services, is a completely corrupt and rogue agency that needs to be completely and totally disbanded, because it's not doing what it was intended to do. It's supposed to protect children, right? Instead, it's actually taking children out of families where children should not be removed, all in order to get these grants. So this is what Linda Collins was working on as a senator. For any alternative or mainstream media outlet, government authority, or agency who has the courage to actually do something about these crimes taking place, you can contact us for further proof of the statements above at kre8changenow@gmail.com. All right, so it looks like at this point that Linda Collins was murdered because she was involved in completely and totally exposing Child Protective Services, DHS, CPS in Arkansas. So we'll see how this story develops, but I think this is very, very, very interesting stuff. Okay, I want to talk about a few other things. I reported about how a couple days ago that Christopher Steele is now going to talk. He's going to talk, and he's going to actually talk directly to John Durham. Of course, most of you know John Durham is the person that is basically going to be going after, looking at the Russian collusion hoax that he has been assigned to do this by William Barr. And Christopher Steele is going to be interviewed by John Durham. Now, John Durham has had a lot of experience in going after the CIA and going after the FBI. And it looks like Christopher Steele is going to basically testify and prove that the FBI lied. And this is why Joe D is out there saying the walls are closing in on the deep state. So we really need to keep our eyes on this and see what happens as Christopher Steele gives this interview to John Durham. I'm not exactly sure when this interview is going to happen, but I'm sure we're going to hear more and more about this, because I think it looks like it's going to be happening very, very soon. Now, the big news, of course, also is that YouTube announced they were going to try to remove thousands and thousands of videos that did not align with their policy. And Q has warned us about this. If we go to Q post 2793, he actually says, should this occur, immediate steps will be taken to classify each as, I'm talking about the social media platforms, each as a public utility, essential public services to gain appropriate government regulation and control. Why do we make things public? And you make things public in order to force accountability. Right now, YouTube, Google, all these platforms are privately owned. And because they're privately owned, they have the discretion to do what they want, which means that they can, if they want, cut off half of the people in the United States who might have a certain view that they disagree with and censor and take them off. So this Q post of 2793 was posted back in February 18th of 2019. This was a post that shows us that Q, the Patriots, they have a plan, they have a response if this should ever happen. So I think this might be what the whole antitrust investigation is leading toward, that President Trump is going to cause these platforms to become public utilities, like electricity, so that it can no longer be used to stifle freedom of speech. So so we'll see what happens. We'll see how this plays out. It'll be very, very interesting. Or maybe these social media giants will get wind of what's happening and they'll back off and then say, oh, we better not censor people as much as we should. And I know people say, well, why don't we just all leave this forum and go to different other forums? But it just doesn't work. It doesn't. I mean, I have backup channels. I have a backup channel at Bitchute and Gab, but they just don't nearly get as much traffic as, say, YouTube does. So we can say all we want that we can go to other social media platforms, alternative platforms, but YouTube and Twitter, these things, Facebook, they have the traffic that a lot of these other smaller platforms just don't have. So if President Trump is going to make these into public utilities, wow, that's going to be pretty amazing. And I don't know if that's what's going to happen or not. That's what Q seems to be suggesting. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, I mainly wanted to make this video about Linda Collins. I want us to keep our eyes on this and see what happens, mainly because, I thought her death was just simply because of her affiliation with Q, but it looks like it goes much deeper than that. She was someone that was actually going after Child Protective Services, showing the monetary fraud, showing just how rogue this agency, at least in Arkansas, is. And of course, we know it's rogue in almost every state of the union. So hopefully this story will develop further and more things will come to light. And boy, wouldn't it be awesome if this would lead to a complete shutdown of CPS across the nation, because it's not working. It's not working. All right. If you like what I'm doing, if you appreciate what I'm doing, if you think I'm working hard and I deserve to be paid, this is my full-time career, which I absolutely love. I love to do this. The best way to help me out is through my PayPal. That is a link right below this video. You do not have to be a PayPal user to use it. You can use it as a guest. I also have a Patreon where you can sign up to be a patron and you can pledge any monthly tier that you'd like. Just click on that Patreon link that I have below my video as well. And I have a P.O. box. If you're old school, you want to send donations through the mail rather than on the internet, I do have a P.O. box as well that you can send donations to. And I do always try to respond to those with thank you letters and thank you emails. Again, if you have a prayer request, you want our prayer team to pray for you, we do meet every single night, just like they used to meet in the book of Acts every single day. Please do not put it in the comments, but email. My email is in the description box as well. You just got to hit the little down arrow or the show more to unfold that description box, and you can send me your prayer requests. I'll make sure to get it to our prayer team, and we will pray for you. All right. Y'all bless you guys. Shalom, shalom. I'll have some more news later today.